Colossians 4:6. Let my conversation always be full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that I may know how to answer everyone. That's powerful, right? When you think about that. I don't want to be the type of person, and I used to be, man. And it's because of the way I was raised, and the type of people I was raised around, I just did not take lightly to someone getting in my face, popping off, trying to have the last word. It took me a long time to conquer, and I'm still conquering the spirit of sarcasm. Let me tell you, because I used to think the spirit of sarcasm was actually a fruit of the spirit, and somehow the Bible missed it, that there weren't 9 fruits, that there were actually 10 fruits, and one of them was sarcasm. Right? I used to actually look through the word to try and find justification for being a smart aleck. And if it was an all men show, I'd use another word, a smart, you know what? I used to think that it was okay when someone who was just being a jerk, for no apparent reason, could be a jerk to you, but you couldn't be, say something back to them. I used to just love to be able to be, quick on my feet and say something. And I realized, man, that's not the best witness. That's not how you win someone over to Christ. And this was early in my walk, so you have to understand, as a young person, sometimes, like, who do you think you're talking to, right? And that's not how God, and I'm not saying let people walk all over you either, but what I'm saying is we shouldn't be walking around with a chip on our shoulder, and our conversation shouldn't sound like we have a chip on our shoulder trying to piss somebody off or get someone popping off at us. A gentle answer, the word says, turns away wrath. A gentle answer turns away wrath. Now, it may not make your ego feel good. You may not feel satisfied, like, hey, I didn't get that person back, sort of thing going on there. But a gentle answer turns away wrath, and watch it. It keeps you, and it keeps your emotions, and it keeps your mindset in the driver's position. Don't give someone else the driver's position to your emotions. Don't give someone else the driver's position to how you're going to feel about your day. Stay in the driver's seat. The way you stay in the driver's seat is by keeping your mind in your mouth in the word, and letting your mouth and your tongue speak life, and letting your conversation be full of grace and seasoned with salt. Ephesians 4:29 says, do not let foul, profane, worthless, vulgar words come out of your mouth. Wow, that's a challenge right there. But only speech as is good for building up others. Wow, think about this for just a minute. My speech is not just for communication. My speech is actually for creation. My speech can actually build others up. The same way my words can actually tear others down. We're not called to tear others down. I see people, oh man, on different podcasts, and I sometimes read different articles, and I see these people trashing other preachers, picking other preachers apart, telling them where they're wrong, saying, this is a prosperity preacher. This person doesn't, give enough altar calls. This person doesn't say enough about heaven and hell. This person, I mean, it's amazing how many opinions are out there when it comes to people's call, right? I have found I don't have time to be concerned about what someone else is doing. It's enough for me to deal with what I've got going on with myself. I don't know about you, right? So I don't need to be worried what Joyce Meyer's doing. I don't need to be worried about T.D. Jakes is doing. God is their boss, not me. Think about this. I'm not. God's my boss. God's your boss. We don't need to be concerned unless the enemy get us thinking, speaking on others, talking about others. And listen, I would encourage you, if you're following somebody or listening to somebody that's always talking about others, you need to unfollow them. You need to turn them off. That's a negative, toxic flow. Our conversation, listen, doesn't mean we can't address issues. Doesn't mean we can't speak the truth. But listen, let me tell you something. Speaking the truth does not mean you get to just run over people. Do not let foul, profane, worthless, vulgar words come out of your mouth. And I'm talking to me, number one, primarily. But only speech is good for building up others. Right now, more than any other time in the world, we need to be people that have speech and language that builds others up. Man, Lord, let that be my prayer today. Let my mouth be a tool of speech for good, for building others up. Then it says, according to the need and the occasion, that will be a blessing to those who hear you speak. Wow. In other words, God's saying, man, have an on-time word when you come in the presence of difficult situations. Have an on-time word for people that when they hear it, they're going to be blessed. And when you walk out the door, they're not going to remember all the negative stuff you said. They're going to be, man, that person was a blessing. That person was encouraging. That person was empowering. That person had light. That person had salt. That person had love. That person had joy. That person had peace.